If you're that first-generation business owner that birthed your business out of tenacity and grit because you decided that the generation behind you will not repeat the cycle you had to come through, or if you've already established your business and want to ensure that you successfully continue your wealth-building journey, we want to encourage you to leverage By the Book accounting firm as an asset to your business. We not only help mitigate taxes and keep you compliant, but we will save you time and effort by dealing with the tax laws, rules, and regulations. The basics. Once we know your business story, we will become your personal guide to financial literacy, budgeting, money management, investing, cryptocurrency, and wealth building. Let us equip you with strategies to implement new cycles to build generational wealth by the book. For more information, please visit us at bythebookfirm.com or email us at btbaf@bythebookfirm.com.
Is there a way to naturally boost your energy and immune system to help you power through your day? Need to shave off extra pounds while eliminating toxic sludge from your body? Want a glow that makeup can't provide? Millions of women trust the world-famous ISO Detox Tea and other proven products from Total Life Changes. Our products are 100% natural and proven safe, even for children. Try our best-selling NutriBurst liquid vitamins, the Chewy and NRG to sustain feel-good energy all day. For coffee lovers, we have the deliciously smooth Delgada coffee, guaranteed to brighten your morning while enhancing your overall wellness. Visit our online store, read testimonials, and order your products at retail.totallifechanges.com/mogullife/enrollment. Welcome to Mogul Talk, where wealth and lifestyle converge. We are Mindset Media, dealing with business, social relevance, abundance, lifestyle, and spirituality. This is your time. This is your moment. And this is your host, Ms. Mogul, Charity Smith.
Hello, America and around the world. This is Charity Smith. I am Ms. Mogul. Welcome to another very special edition of Mogul Talk. Today, I have in the studio with me the one and the only Mr. Andre Notice. Now, I'm really excited about this interview because we are truly breaking new ground and making history with this guest. But before I bring him into the studio, let me tell you a little bit about him. He is known as the rhyming realtor, motivational speaker, author, and now we can say the official poet laureate of Roar Global. More to come on that. Mr. Notice is an 18-year licensed top producing realtor, speaker, poet, life coach. He's been featured in the media, print, digital, television, you name it. You've seen his face and his brand there. He's also received many local awards as well as magazine features. Now, here's something I bet you all didn't know. Mr. Notice spent 3 years in his car while selling houses. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But today, he is a thriving, producing brand manager. He's not only a realtor, but he truly is a walking, talking, breathing brand. I am delighted to have him with me today. Come on into the studio, sir. Welcome to Mogul Talk.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Listen, I had to. After hearing your presentation recently at the Women's Council Scholarship luncheon, we're both members of that organization. I had no idea. Now, I knew you were a very shrewd businessman, right? I knew you were a successful realtor. I knew you were a successful brand in the city. What I did not know is that you are a very gifted speaker and poet. Tell us, first of all, before we get into that aspect of your life, people have to know how these two worlds join. Because I'm telling you, when I see you, when I hear your story, and then I hear you lived in your car for 3 years while selling houses, the contradiction is just like the Grand Canyon. You know, it really is day and night. Talk to us a little bit about how in the world did this successful businessman we're looking at today make it through 3 years of living in his car while selling houses to now become a walking brand?
Well, I was homeless for 3 years, but I was in my car for 3 months.
Got you.
But for 3
It's
years,
still a rough ride either way you slice it.
Right. So for 3 years, I was going from friend's house to friend's house to friend's house. And then I moved in with my dad, and then he kicked me out. And that's how I wound up in my car. So yeah, but to answer your question, I believe the number one thing you need to succeed is desire. You got to want it. And I just wanted it bad enough. I didn't want to go back to where I just came from. I had an opportunity when I was going through a tough time to take a position making 6 figures in sales. And I turned it down because I realized that if I took that position, I would go right back where I just came from, going through the same cycle. And I didn't want that for myself.
Okay, so tell us about that process. Because when someone hears 6 figures, the average person would have said yes and just jumped at it. What were you looking at? What was the vision ahead of you that made the 6 figures worthy of being turned down for what you saw in front of you? What were you looking at? What was the vision at that time?
Great question. One word: freedom.
Okay. Okay. Talk to us about it.
Yeah. So I really believe, so you have an employee mindset and then you have an entrepreneurship mindset. Under most circumstances, I truly believe that in an employee mindset, the main thing that they value is security. And I would even say the illusion of security, because it's really not security in their job. They make you believe that it is. So they value security first. They need to know what they're getting paid at all times. For entrepreneurship, most of the time they value freedom. So an entrepreneur would rather work 70 hours for themselves than 40 hours for somebody else.
That is so true.
It's not about putting in the work. It's about the time of being on your own time. And that's what I value.
It's also, I think, and you bring up a very interesting point, right? I think it's also too about the ownership of time and creativity. As an entrepreneur, you get to experiment with success.
Exactly.
You get to develop your own formulas and your own patterns with success, as opposed to continuing in the same monotonous grind day in and day out.
Yes.
How important is it to you? Because, and I think I kind of already know the answer, because you are a writer, you are a poet, you are a speaker, you are a realtor. How important is just the element of creativity to you? The ability to create and to innovate in real time. How important is that to you? And how important has it been in your success?
It's everything, but it goes back to even what you just said. It's still freedom because you have the freedom to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get hired, you're getting hired to do what they ask you to do, what they pay you to do. Sometimes no more, no less, depending on your position. But in entrepreneurship, you are free to grow, to build, and to utilize your gifts, your talents, how you see fit. And if something doesn't work, you can tweak it, you can change it, and you can find out what works best for you. And for me, it just made sense. I wanted that so bad for myself that I wanted to be able to say, I want to get up and go to Jamaica because it's Tuesday. I didn't want to have to ask somebody else, did I have to take off to be able to go and be told no? You know, I didn't want that anymore. So it's those things that mattered most.
So I'm going to ask you a question that's going to seem very controversial, but I want you to dig deep and go on this kind of discovery with me. How did you know, right? Because you said very clearly that many people have an employee mindset, and you knew from the jump that did not fit you, that mold didn't fit you at all. How did you know that you were worthy of that risk? And this is what I mean by that. Again, people tend to like security, especially if they're coming out of a volatile situation. But for you to know that you should stick with whatever path you're on and pursue entrepreneurship, how did you know that you wouldn't cave? That had to be a very difficult time that you were in. How did you know you were worth that risk?
I believe that I was destined for greatness.
That's what I'm after. Okay.
Les Brown says that there's greatness within you.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe that there's greatness within me. I believe that if I serve a God that's all powerful, if I serve a God that's success, he cannot create me as his child to not be successful. So if I really believe that I can do all things through Christ that gives me strength, and I can do anything that I put my mind to,
For sure.
then the only person that's holding me back from achieving what I want is me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to get out of my own way.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I say when I speak oftentimes is the fact that we don't take the step out on faith because we think we're waiting on God. No, God is waiting on you. And I got tired of making that excuse that I'm waiting on God. I had to make a decision that I was going to do whatever it took to reach my chosen success.
So a few years homeless, then 3 months in the car, now a thriving, bustling, producing realtor, author, all of these now achievements and new descriptions. You truly are a walking, talking success story and testimony. I saw that in your bio. Talk to us a little bit about now the birthing of your writing gift. Where did this come from? Because I can understand the connection with real estate and with wanting entrepreneurship. And let's just be honest, I've been there in maybe not in some of the same positions, but I know what difficult situations can produce. Difficulty is a crucible of creativity. So for all y'all who writing stuff down, that's a good quote to write down right there, right? Difficulty is a crucible for creativity. I want to know how and where was your writing gift birthed? How did that spring up in you?
When I was in high school, we all had our high school sweethearts. And in my high school sweetheart, I wanted to write her something that was meaningful.
Get
And
out of here.
I just realized that when I would write, it was so easy to make the words rhyme. So I just did it. And before long, I started writing poetry, and I would recite it at church, and I recited at different places. And I realized that I had a gift in writing poetry, and it just kind of stuck with me. So I just never stopped doing it. Of course, you write in seasons, but I never really just stopped writing.
You know what's funny? And I've never shared this with you either. I also write poetry, right? and I started in the 11th grade English class.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was right there. And there was this technique. His name was Mr. Eccles. I don't know if the man is still alive yet, but he would tell us to just write whatever came to mind and allow yourself to dream. Just go there wherever the words would take you. Go on that journey with yourself in your own words.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something that you talked about, though, because you introduced the understanding of God and faith into your success story.
Yes.
For those of us who are in faith, we know that word and spoken word is as close to God as we can get, right?
Yeah.
When we read some of the scriptures about in the beginning, God said this and this was created, and God said this and this was created.
Right.
How have you used your creativity in poetry to create the reality that one you want to live in? And then how do you use this creativity to bring people along for the journey with you?
Whew. So,
whoo, that's a good one.
man, it's a good one. When you read the word, anything that you read, actually, anything that you read, anything that you come across, anything that you intake, anything that you place inside your spirit becomes a part of you. So whatever goes in must come out. So me constantly reading the word, me constantly writing poetry became one and the same. So as I write, the things that come out of my mouth are the things that I've placed inside of me, be it the word, be it whatever I watch or I listen to, and being able to take what I enjoy from the word, from the Bible, from what I'm inspired by, and place it into rhyming words. I saw that it was inspirational for others. So I took it upon myself to make sure that I was utilizing my gifts for the benefit of those around me.
That is so good. That is so good. When I think about spoken word, and we're going to get into the conference and things later, because I guess you can tell I really enjoyed this aspect of creativity because it's something I really resonate with and connect with.
Yeah.
When I think about spoken word, scientists say that whenever we speak, DNA is even in when we speak, right? Our air, our breath, our breathing contains DNA in it. And so every time we share word, we literally share a part of ourselves in that moment. Now, that's a different way of thinking of communication.
Right.
But when you put that kind of understanding on communication, you're much more careful with where you place your words and how you place your words and you communicate with, right? So this idea of poetry is very intimate and very personal. And while I've had the opportunity to hear you present in a forum recently, I gather, though, that when people hear your poetry, they instantly can connect to it. What is it, do you think, in your experience, that has helped people kind of resonate and come back to spoken word? Because it really is kind of a Harlem Renaissance artistic form that it's had its cycles, right? It's the Harlem Renaissance, and then it's the 70s, and then it's the rap and the hip hop era. And now we're back to spoken word. And while it may have a vintage feel, it's very new in many forms. How has it evolved, and why do you think people continue to connect with it?
Great question. I'll give you the reason why I believe. So when a poet is getting ready to write, most of the times we're inspired by something. We usually write when we're on an emotional high or an emotional low. And because we're writing when we're in this emotional state, we're often writing something that is personal to us. So to answer your question, vulnerability. People connect with those that are vulnerable, that are open and honest and transparent with what they have going on in their own personal lives, because it takes them from being on stage to being on the floor with everybody else. I'm another human being. I'm another individual just like you. This is what I've been through. And people connect with those when they see that you're not much different from me. That's what I believe it is.
It's the ability to be vulnerable. And I'm going to go back to my quote. It's the ability to share ourselves and to be vulnerable in the moment. So it doesn't matter if it's connected to hip hop or anything else.
Right.
It's that vulnerability. It's the human factor. That's what it
Yeah.
is. It's that human to human connection in
Exactly.
poetry, I think, that makes it resonate. And I get that because that's exactly how the audience connected with you on last Saturday when I saw you present. So, Mr. Notice, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, I want to talk to you about now being Poet Laureate for Roar and the new ground that you're going to break in the summit. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about global business and the diaspora and where your thoughts are in that sphere as well. So hang with me for just a quick second. You all stay with me. We'll be right back. And we are back. So as you all may now know, Mr. Notice, is our official Poet Laureate for Roar Global. Now, let me put this in context and really define for the listening audience why and how this is so historical in context. Since our inception, Mr. Notice, you may or may not know this, we were a completely female run-driven organization. We bled the pink. You understand? We were all in pink. However, after a lot of travel and having conversations with business leaders, it was time to rebrand it and bring our allies, our brothers to the table to now have a more comprehensive conversation around the conversations of leadership and economics and business development. So earlier in the year, we decided to rebrand. We dropped the Roar Women's Leadership and we became Roar Global so that would have a more inclusive conversation and paradigm moving forward. So truly, you are breaking new ground here. And let me just say this, and it's one thing, and all of y'all know me as the lioness, right? When a lioness lets out a roar with her other lionesses, it's powerful. But when you hear the king of the jungle coming from behind and he begins to roar, it amplifies that thing. And then the sisters kind of take on some new courage about taking down the kill. You understand? So there was absolutely, and I know it sounds comical, but y'all, for real, that's the way I think. So there was absolutely a psychology and a philosophy behind now bringing male allies to the table who had the same passions about economic development, about global business, about leadership. Tell us about you. And why is it important, first of all, that you stand in this historical space, being the first? And secondly, why is it important as a business leader and as an artist, as a creative being, to continue to push the boundaries forward?
Yeah. First of all, congratulations on what you're doing. I have to say that first.
Thank you.
To God be the glory, and may He bless
Always.
everything that you touch. May you have the Midas touch and beyond.
Oh, thank you, sir. Appreciate
First of all, I have to say that first. To answer your question, though, I think it's because my level of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is I understand, like my book says, your purpose is not for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that as I continue to be elevated and as I continue to reach new platforms, those around me will also be elevated, because I'm not doing this just for me, because it's not even about me. God has placed me on an assignment, and I'm purpose driven, and I'm walking in my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And as I continue to walk in my purpose, others will be blessed, and the kingdom of God shall prevail. And that's all that matters. It's not about me. So that's the reason why I keep things in proper perspective of knowing that it's not about me. I'm just a vessel.
And we call it a conduit of glory and success. A vessel that glory can just flow through, right? That energy can flow through, that power can flow through.
That's it.
I appreciate your, hold on, y'all. It happens, y'all, when you're live. It happens. But listen, it's important too that we put all of this in context, right?
Right.
Because your humility is one very humbling. Your humility is humbling. But when you think about the historical context, you're opening the doors for others who come around. Again, like your book says, your purpose isn't for you. You're opening the doors, you're blazing trails, you are creating new paths for other leaders to dwell in. There wouldn't be a path if there wasn't an Andre first. Come on, let's put it in perspective, right? There wouldn't be a path if there wasn't an Andre first. And so I want to celebrate you, first of all, for looking at this opportunity and saying, okay, Poet Laureate, all right, let's do that. Now let's step into that space and let's fill that space and let's dig out a place and hollow out a place here for glory to be revealed, for my excellence to shine. And then let's create a path, because somebody coming behind me will need a paradigm, will need a pattern. And we'll always look to the progenitor. That's a word that I love to use, Andre. Progenitors are the first, right? We don't have an Abraham, we don't have a faith until we have, first of all, a father of faith, Abraham, right? We don't have a lot of we don't have branding the way I understand branding until there was an Oprah. What I mean by that, she was the first time I saw a Black woman own her name. So for me, she was the progenitor. And now I can be mogul because there was an Oprah, right? And so those who are coming alongside, who will see you perform dynamically at Roar, will now have a progenitor. They'll understand, okay, this is how we do this on global stages. Andre did it first. So while you're being very humble, and I appreciate your humility, I want us to really encapsulate the power of the moment, right? You're the first. Tell us about your presentation, because I know that you will be performing I Am at the summit. Talk to us a little bit about this piece. Don't give it away, because they have to register in order to hear you perform it. But tell us about what was the inspiration behind I Am. I hear a whole lot in that.
The inspiration is you got me thinking. The inspiration.
Come on, it's a thinking show. Let's do it.
Right. It's really God-given. But I'll say this. The backstory behind writing that. I was at home watching the Steve Harvey show when it was on TV. And he had a young lady come on the show. She might have been maybe 7 years old. And he had her come on towards the end of the show, and he had this young lady hold the mic, and he talked about how her parents would have her say these I am affirmations every single day. And she would just mouth them out. I am, I am, I am. And I said, man, that's dope. I love that. I should do something like that. And the Holy Spirit rose in me and said, well, you're a poet, right? That was it. It said, you're a poet, right?
Right. Yeah, go live your gift.
Exactly.
Go live your gift.
And that's how it happened. That's how it happened. I just wrote.
And it's something about the phrase, though, I am, that's very powerful and empowering.
Yeah.
It's something also, again, you have to be spiritual to understand this,
Of
but it's
course.
also very prophetic.
Yes.
I am. So even if you aren't right now, again, saying I am, I go back to what I said about putting DNA in the word.
Yes.
Ooh, wait a minute. That
Yes.
blessed me myself. Wait.
Yes.
So when I say I am, I put me in that declaration. So if I say
That's it.
I am powerful, I just
Mm-hmm.
put my DNA into that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
I am gifted. I put my DNA there. I am loved.
Yes.
Whatever it is, you're putting a part of yourself there. What
Agreed.
I am hoping, people, I guess y'all can tell, I can go here all day. Y'all don't know, we talk about this stuff all the time. But what I'm hoping people will really start to resonate with is that when you begin to perform, and I won't even say perform, I'm gonna call you a minister of poetry. You thought you, what is this? The evangelist of the word? Something. I'm gonna come up with something for you. Don't worry about it. I come up with something. I'm gonna give it to you. And I ain't gonna even trademark it. I'm gonna give it to you and let you do that. But listen, when you deliver this word, I absolutely believe, one, because it's going global. Come on. Again, sit in the moment. When you give those declarations about I am, I'm a poet as well. So that's why I think I resonate so much with you. When you drop that presentation, I am, into this sea of humanity, when you drop a pebble, doesn't it resonate and then vibrate and move out, and the ripples go, 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 and we don't know where the ripples stop.
You go right.
Ah!
Right.
So when you drop this word about I am, and the leaders in Ghana hear it, the leaders in Botswana hear it, the leaders in the USA hear it, the leaders in Latin America hear it. When this drops, I just simply believe that it will resonate globally, and we don't know where it's going to stop, but somebody somewhere in some remote areas and boardrooms, I'm prophesying and I'm talking to you now, by the way. And look, we just happen to have a global audience in here. I felt the shift, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. I just believe that when you declare, that's a good word, and when you drop this word, it will reverberate literally around the world. And we do not know what global leader will hear it, and it's exactly the answer they need in the moment. What business leader hears it, it's exactly what they need in the moment. A solopreneur will hear this, it's exactly what they need in the moment. So that's why I say, Mr. Notice, while you're being very humble about what this is, I absolutely believe you're called to it. I do.
I thank you. To
I
God be the
do.
glory.
Yeah. I absolutely believe you are. Listen, I don't want to spend all the time here. We're getting to the close of the interview. I want you to, not I am, but you gave a presentation last Saturday.
Uh-huh.
There is something you say to yourself every morning to go and, again, direct your day. Which, if you feel up to it, because I know artists can sometimes be a little temperamental. If they don't feel it, they don't roll with it.
Right.
But if you feel it, if it's there with you, would you please give us your morning declarations that you say to yourself? Or if you feel more inspired to share something else, maybe a closing word of inspiration with our listeners, whatever is on your heart.
I'll share this, and I want people to understand and grasp this concept. Everything you say after I am is an affirmation. It doesn't matter if it's positive or it's negative, you've placed it in the atmosphere. There's a scripture that says, my word shall not return to me void. It will not return to me void. So if it does not return to me void, that means that it's in the atmosphere. That means that it's moving, it's working, it's in the atmosphere, whether it's positive or it's negative. I cringe every single time I hear somebody say something like, I'm dead, because something is funny. I believe that every time you say that, you are taking a breath away from your lifespan. I strongly believe that. So be conscious to every word that comes out of your mouth, Whether you're saying it jokingly, whether you're singing it in the song, it does not matter. It came out of your mouth. And your words have life. And your words create. That same power that God used to create, you being his child have that same power. And you're creating every single day. Now, whether you're creating what you do want to experience or what you don't want to experience is up to you. But you are creating it. The last thing I would say is, I've been saying this for years. Life in one word, to me, is love. And the best way to show love is to give. Therefore, I live to give. But you need to be able to give to yourself first so that you can have the capacity to give to others. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways that I give to myself is by making sure that I'm speaking to myself about what it is that I want to accomplish for myself and for those around me every day.
Powerful. Did y'all get that? I'm telling you, don't play with the word, because I'm a word lover. Okay, I'm right here. I love it. Mr. Notice, it has been a pleasure to host you today. I saw there was a book on your desk. Before we go, would you tell the listening audience how they can get your book?
Yes, this book, Your Purpose Is Not For You. You can go to purposeforme.com. Purposeforme.com. $29.95 plus tax. I'll ship it to you, and I'm praying that it is a blessing to you. I've received so much feedback, and it's been overwhelming to hear the feedback that I've received from the book. It's changing lives, and I'm just grateful.
A conduit of purpose. That's exactly who you are, sir. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank all of you. Listen to this replay over and over again. There was a lot dropped into this, you all. It was not, I don't know if y'all caught it. You have to have your hand on the pulse of things to really get it. But there was a lot shared here that goes way beyond real estate, way beyond poetry. Life was shared with you today, and it really is an opportunity for you to now start to make some different trajectories in life, make some different decisions in life when it comes to power, creativity, and truly living the life you desire to live. Mr. Notice, I want to thank you again for being the Poet Laureate for Roar 2022 this year. You all make sure you go to roarglobal.org, register for free. You will hear this dynamic speaker, this poet, give to us the presentation of I Am. I cannot wait to hear this, because I'm telling you, I know for a fact it's going to reverberate around the world. And I'm going to be a little selfish here, Mr. Notice. I want to be so thankful. I am so thankful that it happens here, and I get to be the platform.
Yay!
Yeah, come on now, because I know my purpose too. I'm so thankful I get to be the platform where you drop this boulder in the ocean of humanity, and we get to see it reverberate. And I pray and I declare that the goodness on that poem will outlive both of our lifetimes. Come on now. It will outlive both of our lifetimes. Amen. Listen, I could be here all day. Hang tight with me, Mr. Notice. Don't you go anywhere. But listen, you all, we have come to the end of our show. I told y'all it gets better and better and better. And as the people down south say, it gets gooder and gooder and gooder. We have had a wonderful time here today talking to Mr. Notice, who again is the official Poet Laureate for Roar 2022. Do not miss his presentation August 11th and 12th. You can view it. roarglobal.org. Go there right now, register for free, and hear this dynamic professional share his gift and his love with the world. Listen, I'm out of time. Clearly, I'm not out of word. I just got to shut this thing off. You all stay tuned. We'll have another interview coming up real soon. Go and register for Roar. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for watching. Connect with us on our fan page on Facebook, Master Your Morning with Ms. Mogul, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mogul Life TV. And visit our website, youcancreateyourown economy.com and mommyscreatingeconomies.com.